Hey everyone, today I want to tell you why I price my portrait shoots the way I price them, what it saved me in my 10 plus year career, and how it can benefit you as a photographer in 2024. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Sergio and I'm a photographer here in Victoria, BC. And I know it looks a little bit different than usual. I think if you've watched Thursday's video, you would have seen me forced into this basement from the bad audio. We'll get into at some point, but that's in another video. Right now it's just not ready. It's just not due for a unveiling or honestly it's just glorified storage, so for the time being we'll just leave it in the background. Now when it comes to pricing my photography, especially when it comes to portrait shoots, I want to lay it in terms that are easy to understand and it helps me and the client move forward as effectively as possible. I've gotten burned many times, and it wasn't until I implemented like a certain technique or a certain just pricing way of thinking that really helped me in my career. One of the things that sucks the most when you're shooting is the variability of each shoot. Like, okay, I guess it doesn't suck the most. That's kind of why I got into this job, because not every day is the same. But I think that the variability of each shoot is definitely going to be a hindrance in the amount of money that you can make. Because if you price yourself, let's say, in order to accommodate the heaviest buyer or the worst type of client, well, you're going to price yourself really high. And conversely to that, if you price yourself to, every shoot is so easy, every shoot's a breeze, then you're going to realize that you're going to undersell yourself and you'll be doing a lot more work for the same amount of clients or for different clients. Every client has different demands of you, and I think it's important to price yourself accordingly. And that's kind of what that shifting point was for me, is understanding that, I can have a fee for me shooting there and then a fee to compensate for the different levels of work that each shoot might ask of me. So that might look like a day rate and an image fee, or a creative fee and a production cost. Whatever it may be, however you want to separate it, I think it's going to be beneficial. But for me, the way I like to do it is a creative fee and then an image fee. The way that lines up is that by saying a creative fee, it's not just a day rate, so people don't feel like, I'm not getting you for 8 hours, or I better get you for a whole 8 hours if I'm paying for a day rate. So by saying creative fee, it's just your fee to show up, to be there, to shoot. What I like to include in my creative fees are going to be a gallery, which includes all of the images that we shot, just so they can go through and see whatever it is that they want to shoot, whatever it is that they want to choose. And from there, then they'll select their edits and I'll charge again for an image fee. Now, the way I separate those two, the reason I separate those two is in your creative fee, you get your gallery, you get your time for you shooting there, you get to pay for all your gear. It pays your minimum that you know that, I'm taking away a day of shooting for this client, but I know that I'm making at least $500, let's say, whatever the number is, plus X amount of dollars for the amount of images that you're going to make, or that they're going to choose. And the reason that helps so much is that you can have your bare minimum, so you know that you're going to make at least that amount of money. That can pay for your taxes, that can pay for all of the other things that not your profit. This is your cost of doing business, let's say. From there, with portrait shoots, I think what's important is that you want to please the client. It's not important for you to like the image. It's important for them to like the image, and it's important for them to tell their friends that they like the images. So I've always found it best to let them choose the images. I think when I was first starting out, it would be like, okay, I'll choose your best 10 and then you can trust me. But the thing is it's more important for them to be happy than it is for you to be happy. So let them choose the images. Give them a gallery and let them choose it. Maybe in your gallery you can remove all the ones with the closed eyes, or when you're flashed in fire or whatever. You make a slightly condensed gallery. But if you give them that illusion of choice, you're more likely to sell a couple extra images that you might have glanced over that you didn't think were winners, but they want them and they're willing to pay for them. And you're like, okay, extra money in my pockets, who cares? And by doing a separated gallery and image fee, well, it gives them this it makes them feel like they're in control of what's going on, and they're not just, giving you a whole bunch of money and then not ending up happy with the results. Now, you can separate production cost and licensing in a separate fee as well. Sometimes people will do 3 separate sections, or maybe just call one of their sections production or whatever it is. But I've noticed that with portrait shoots specifically, maybe with commercial shoots it's different, but with portrait shoots specifically, especially when it's a one-on-one with someone, they're often taken aback by getting charged licensing or getting charged production, and they're like, what do you mean? Like, I'm paying you to take my picture. Why do I have to also pay for the camera and the lens and the light and the tripod and all that? That makes no sense to me. So rather than trying to explain and educate every single client, honestly, just lump it all under one fee and then have it for yourself in your back of your mind being like, okay, well, I know that I'm charging, let's say, $100 a photo. Well, 20 bucks of those is towards the licensing for the year. 20 bucks of those is for the production, and 60 bucks of that is the actual cost of the image. Now you can kind of separate that in your head and know that, all right, well, each image is $100, and that's a nice even round number for your client to follow and to just be like, okay, well, I want 10 images, it's gonna be an extra $1,000. But in your mind, you could be like, okay, well, that was $200 for licensing, so I know that next year, if they want to use the images again, I can charge them an extra $200 or an extra $500 for perpetual or whatever, however you break that down. But at least now you can, in your mind, be like, okay, well, that's what that cost went towards, and that extra 30% of my day rate or of my creative fee, well, that can go towards paying my expenses or can pay towards the gas that I use to get there, whatever it may be. A lot of the variance in shoots doesn't account for, driving to a certain place or having to deal with like a 5 a.m. or a 6 a.m. sunrise shoot or any additional things that make certain shoots a lot harder than other shoots. And if you just blanket $200 for everyone, well, then you're going to realize that $200 goes a lot further with some people and a lot less far for others. So in order to save yourself and to make sure that you're paid for the amount of work that you're doing, having this separation between creative fee and an image fee is going to help save you some headaches down the line. I haven't always charged like this, and it's not something that I started doing, but because I've been doing it for well over 5 years now, 8 years now, I would say, the way I've been separating my rates has just helped me make sure that I don't overwork for certain clients. Like, I know exactly how much work it's going to take to do a certain shoot, and that's my day rate. And that's like, I know I don't mind doing whatever it is, the work that we have to do, because I'm already making X amount of dollars. And from there, after that, if you ask of me some editing things, or if you ask of me, 48 different photos versus one client only wants 4 of them, well, at least you're going to pay appropriately for the extra work that I have to do. Everyone's day of shooting process is relatively similar, and I can kind of lump it under, okay, well, that's how much it's going to cost me to do 99% of my shoots, or at least every portrait client that you get coming your way is going to be very, they're going to have some variance between one and the other, but the amount of work that you're doing and the amount of time it takes you to do it is probably going to be very similar, shy of some, extreme shoots that you might, charge extra for on your creative fee, which is totally fine. But I like to have, as much as possible, a very consistent fee, at least for local rates and then for traveling rates, just because it helps me keep everything a little bit more consistent. When you have, at least here in this small little city or small town that I live in, a lot of people know each other. So if you go and you tell someone $100 and then you tell someone else $200 and you tell someone else $250, and they end up talking to each other, it doesn't look very good on you. So I think it's important to have a consistent creative fee that all right, you know what? No matter what the size of the client, no matter how intense or how easy the client is, I know at least if I make this amount of money, I'll be pretty happy. And then, ideally, if they buy 2 extra photos, then it's all profit, and that's the actual money I'm going to be making. I like separating my pricing this way. I think it's more beneficial for the client, and it's definitely more beneficial for me, and it pays me for the amount of work that I'm actually doing. Try it out for yourself. Let me know how it works out for you. Thanks for watching this Monday morning. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. Later.